executive session.
No, so moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right, Town Administrator's Commitment to Excellent Award presentation.
Okay. Every year, the town administrator presents a Commitment to Excellence Award. It's given out to recognize the achievements of a municipal employee who has excelled in his or her position and is under the direct or indirect supervision of the town administrator. This past year, without having a full-time administrator, has been challenging. However, I didn't want to miss this opportunity to recognize one of our most dedicated employees. This evening, I'm honored to present the Town Administrator's Commitment to Excellent Award to Fire Chief Tom Welch.
With the boss?
While we're still here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations, Tom. On behalf of the town, I'd like to thank you so much for all your hard work you do.
Thank you.
You're the best.
Thank you.
I think we should do this
Thank
more
you.
often so we get a crowd. To have a meeting with people in the office. See, that's it, Tom, you gotta keep coming back.
Well, I'm honored, but there's a lot of people that support me. A lot of them are in this room today, especially our acting town administrator. She deserves this award a lot more than I do, because I see what and all my guys. We're working day by day, moving forward, and trying to make our town proud. But
And you do.
Again, thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Yes, where's Dennis?
To leave.
You
You guys
can,
can watch the meeting.
We have training, we gotta go
night.
Yeah. Jim, you don't have training, you gotta stay.
Go with the chief.
I got it, it took me years.
All right. Senator Chandler and Representative Day, the library technology grant, $40,000. And this library, like after you guys talk, you have something to say. Come on up. How you been?
Well,
Good.
how are you? Good to see you all.
We're delighted to be here for this reason. We've tried very hard to get this money for a very long time. And I can't tell you a better reason to get money from the state government, a better town to get it for. And as we kept saying, you don't understand what the library means in the town of West Boylston. You don't understand how often it's used, how much it's used by people who use it for every purpose conceivable. And you put, you update the electronical technology, and it's going to make such a difference in the town. And that's what we hope will happen, and I know it will happen, and I know that the $40,000 will be stretched further than any $40,000 in the whole budget, because you're quite capable of doing this. It's really our pleasure to be able to do it. I follow the lead of my colleague and friend here, who lives in West Boylston and has I think we both have the best interests of West Boylston at heart, but he has to get it in the House budget before I can seek it in the Senate budget, and he has done that in such a strong and stalwart manner. I'm really proud to serve with him.
Thank you, Senator. Yeah, I mean, I'm really happy to be here this evening. It's been a little bit of a struggle, whether it's for the library or other requests that we sometimes make. on behalf of the community, on behalf of the town, but I'm really, really pleased that we were able to, and I really have to extend my sincere thanks to the senator as well for making sure that he got through the entire process. We started in the House, but without her leadership and her insistence that it stay on the state, on the Senate side of the budget, it would not have happened. So with the two of us, we both understand the absolute importance of having a healthy community. Healthy community, I think, in so many instances, start at the library, right? Whether we start with our little ones, 2, 3, 4 years old, new people coming into town, wanting to bring their new families into town. We have a top-notch library, and I think it's a reason that people, look at different communities. They want to see what the community does for their constituents and for their citizens, and I think we all recognize the absolute importance of having a well-rounded, healthy library, and certainly in today's environment, we have to have a strong, technological support for our library. The internet, is just exploding minute after minute, and to make certain that we have that opportunity for everyone here in town, whether again it's preschool or our seniors who may not have their own internet access at home, or having books large print that they have access to in the library. So we really sort of we've been very, very fortunate. Louise, our former librarian, has left. We had great steerer of the ship there. I know the new librarian is very, very capable. Certainly looking forward to her success as the town's librarian, and I'm just, again, really delighted that the senator and I were able to deliver this small amount of money. We get it. Right, but it's better than a blank. So we're really happy that we're able to get the $40,000 here for the town and for the library. And thank you for allowing us to come in tonight and say hello and sort of talk about it a little bit. Appreciate that.
Well, on behalf of the board, we really appreciate it, and everything helps, and we have a lot to do with the library, so we really thank you so much. And the librarian would like to say a few words. The director.
The new librarian.
That's right.
So we're pleased to announce that we received a $40,000 technology grant from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. This grant was funded through an earmark in the fiscal year 2016 budget process and was sponsored by Representative James O'Day with the strong support of Senator Harriet Chandler. Thank you. As you know, over the past decade, the town of West Boylston has restored funding, personnel positions, and service hours, bringing the community into compliance with all areas of certification for public libraries. This additional funding will help us provide the stability we need to move our library forward in offering safe, strong, reliable access to services for our patrons and our community. Thank you very much for your support.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Again, thank you so much on behalf of the town. It's something we really look forward to. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our pleasure, and we're still working on other matters. All right? We're still working on other matters.
Keep asking. You
Yeah.
gotta ask, and we'll try to do the best we can about keeping it coming. I'd just like to say that I hope you invite us back. I hope the library invites us back when they've installed the new technology so that we can see it. That would be exciting. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Since they had, thank you so much for what you done. In regards to the other bond money that we have, should we still be pushing forward to try, send
Yes, we
letters,
have.
keep
Yeah.
following up on that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a work in progress. There are projects being reviewed and being looked at, and I can sit here and tell you with a very straight face that, with regards to, the $5 million project over at Good Deal, people are aware of that project. So it isn't in any way that the Secretary Beaton's office doesn't know that that is an important project to us here in this town. There has been conversations held about that project, right? Certainly no promises made, but I think it's pretty safe to say that there are probably hundreds of other projects across the Commonwealth where that kind of conversation hasn't been held. So, it's certainly on their radar, and I think it is in good part having to do with the process that we've all engaged in from the community level forward. on making Boston, making, the Secretary of, the Environmental Affairs aware of this project that's so very important to us. So, yeah, let's keep the pressure on it, absolutely.
You
Is
know,
there anything the board should maybe do?
the same thing that the library did last year. If you remember, when we came here last year, there were trustees from the library and the librarian who said, what can we do? And I think our comment was, write, and make your comments until you're a pest. Make it known, because squeaky wheels do get oiled. And I would suggest you do the same thing. A bond bill will come. And what you want to do is alert the administration to release that money, because it's there, and we need to have the money released. That's
Yeah,
the
and
whole
it's all
piece.
about positioning ourselves, as I think we've been trying to do. And I think, everyone has worked hard on that aspect. But I think we have to continue doing that, right? And anytime that we can get someone in somebody's ear down there, whether it's the lieutenant governor or the governor, Secretary Beaton, A&F, whatever the case may be, we need to try to keep our particular project, right, in front of as many people as we can. And I do believe that we have been making some progress, so let's keep going forward.
One thought comes to me, and this is off the top of my head, but our lieutenant governor lives in the next town. It might not be such a bad idea to invite her to come here for the opening of Little League, because you have games there.
Yeah, Little League, yeah.
And it might be a nice idea to have her see what is and what could be. And she's been very generous and very supportive of her local Central Mass towns, very supportive. And I would suggest, and Secretary Beaton, invite him. He lives next door too. So,
I think that's a really good idea, actually. Yeah.
Maybe we'll have Little League, we'll talk to you,
Yeah,
Mr.
absolutely.
O'Day, in Senator Chandler's office, and maybe
Yeah.
work that out. Okay. Thank you again.
All right, thank you, thanks very much, and keep that library open as long as we can, all right? Thank you very much, have a great evening, thank you.
Thank you again. All right.
Okay, public hearing, consider amendments to the board's business license policy. Public hearing is hereby given in conformity with the requirements of the general bylaws of the town of West Boylston, Article 23. Public hearing notice that the board of selectmen will be on Wednesday, April 6, 2016 at 7:10 p.m. for purpose considering amendments to the policy 39, policy on business license applications. The meeting will be held in the Selectmen's meeting room, 140 Worcester Street, West Boylston. For additional information or review information, please contact the Office of the Board of Selectmen, and all interested party groups and agencies are invited to attend. All right.
At our last meeting, we received a request from the municipal lighting plant, and they asked to be included in the policy that on our business license application renewal policy, and new licenses, that they be one of the departments contacted to see if the business is in compliance with their department. So the the license has been amended to include the MLP.
That's good.
I move that we accept the change.
Are we, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, we have to close the hearing and comments and all that.
Is there any discussion on this? Anything from the public? All right, now we need a motion
Make
to,
a motion to close the public hearing?
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All right, good, good.
I make a motion that we accept the new policy as amended.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, we'll wait till 7:30 for that, old business. reconsider the following sewer abatement request. Susan Spillane, 38 Bailey Forge Circle, $97.29.
At the last meeting, we brought this up, and you wanted to review the meeting minutes again. So in your agenda packet, you have the meeting minutes from January 20th, when Ms. Spillane came in, and it was a denial vote. And then we brought it up again, because she had actually came in and paid all of her outstanding debt, and we denied it. Oh, actually, it was a tie vote at that time, I think it was. Oh, no, it was a denial on February 3rd, 2016. And Mr. McCormick asked that we reconsider it.
I don't know, anybody have any comments? I mean, I'm not sure whether we should grant this. I'm so confused over this whole issue. To me, she violates the policy that we have, which would give a denial to the abatement. But she did it, but because we had this temporary water system, that changed, I don't know, does that change it? Does anybody else? I mean, I'll listen to anybody's thought on this baby.
I think it does. I think that she attempted to follow the policy and made a decision to break the policy so that her neighbors would have water for the day and a half it takes to fill a pool. And she was aware of the policy, she called, and it was just a timing issue. And that's why I initially said, I thought, now that she's in compliance and paid the back bill, I thought that even though she did not comply with the policy, that an exception should be made due to extenuating circumstances.
I kind of agree. I think her heart was in the right place. She did the thing, for the town, so other people have water, and so that's my feeling.
I guess, just to play the devil's advocate here, if she was gonna take the water from the other people, okay, that's her contention, that the other people wouldn't have any water. I would certainly think that the water department, because they were putting water in the ground, would have said, well, wait a minute, you can't put the water, you can't fill your pool now because you can't take the water from everybody else. I mean, to me, the argument was almost, doesn't make sense. She goes, well, I'm trying to be nice to everybody else by not taking their water. Well, who allows you to take the water in the first place? Nobody. You don't have a right to just drain the water system, theoretically.
How would anybody know? How would she's filling it, but they have a temporary line.
But the water department must monitor the temporary line to some degree. I mean, just because you have a temporary line doesn't mean that you get to do anything you want with the water. The water department has to know if somebody's using water or not using water, sucking all the water out of the temporary line. After all, they put the temporary line in. It wasn't like she put it in, they put it in.
I think it's clear. The policy's clear. You pay $30, you get a water meter. Now, this temporary line, I think, is just coming up for a reason to say why she didn't do it, but even if that was all the case, why did she stop paying her bill for a year until she came here to ask for an abatement? I mean, what would be the reason for that? So, I mean, I think the policy's clear, we have it in place, it's for everybody. If we do it here, the next person and the next person that does it, we're gonna have to say, well, we're gonna have to give you an abatement because you didn't follow the policy. So I think the same as the minutes said that the night of the original meeting, I don't think that she should get an abatement. I think it just opens a door for everybody to not follow the policies that are simply in place. I mean, I used the policy, I did it, it was no problem, it worked very easy. So I think we should just, everybody.
Good, you all set?
Yeah.
I think the circumstances, you have to take each individual circumstance and separate, so.
See, I agree with Mr. McCormick in regards to that. I don't think the water line had anything to do with this whole thing. I think it was, the policies in place. If there was gonna be an issue with the water, I'm sure the water district would have said, you can't do it, or we have to do something else. We have to bring a bigger line for you to fill your pool, so.
All right, so this is a $97 bill. We've talked about it for 4 meetings now. Let's make a
Oh, come on, that's all.
That's what
decision
she's-
and let's
is that
get
what
over
she's
it.
asking for, 97 now?
Nice.
Nancy has something.
Oh, good.
At the last meeting, I think it was Mr. Crowley said, what is the proof that the line was actually down? Was there,
Right.
that there was a temporary, and I spoke with Mike Coveney from the Water District, and he's confirmed you have an email in your packet of when the water line was down.
It's $97.29.
Temporary.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No,
Passes.
finally,
Please don't, let's not reconsider that one again.
Yeah, that's all.
finally. it's-
That's done.
Do it again, one more time.
Chief recommendation on request of CMRPC, 3 additional traffic counts. Maple Street onto Pierce Street westbound, Worcester Street onto Pierce Street eastbound, and Newton Street eastbound at Prospect. And I think the last meeting we agreed that he would want to make the decision what he wanted
Correct.
done, so if anybody has
Read
any
it to him.
problems with that?
Those are the 3 we're gonna add, that's fine.
That's
They already
right.
went forward, right?
That's it.
We can't change them anyway.
Just want to know. All right, RFQ for audit services has been issued and is due on May 6, 2016 at 2:30 PM. New business, concurrence on the appointment of Matthew Ryle of Boylston as Special Officer of Detail Assignment effective April 11, 2016, and a term to expire on June 30th, 2016.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's only for 3 months? 2 months?
And they must do them all again in June?
We do them
Okay.
July 1.
Consider accepting the following donations to the Bandstand Fund. Fay Brothers, $250. Miles Funeral, $250. Clinton Savings, $250. Neil P. Casey, $250. Andy Beardsley, $250. Bill's Taxi Service, $250. And Premier Optical, $250.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Concurrence on the following April appointments. Board of Health, Cecile Hardigan, 3 years. Council on Aging, Barbara DeShane, 3 years. Assistant Animal Inspector, Steve Jones and Robert Burrell. Inspector of Animals, Charlie Whitkers. Fence Viewer, Michael Mard. Hazardous Waste Co-Coordinator, Thomas Welsh. Assistant Hazardous Waste Co-Coordinator, Alan Phillips. Government Rep to CMEMSC, Bill Nicholson. Ambulance Rep to CMEMCSC, Colby Fisk. First Responder Rep to CMEMSC, Richard Elberg. Emergency Management Director, Thomas Welsh. Assistant Emergency Management Director, Alan Phillips. Certificate Coordinator, Jesse Bosher. Right to Know Coordinator, Thomas Welsh. Forest Warden, Thomas Welsh. Historical Commission, Nancy Vacarin, 3 years. Parks Commissioner, Steve Blake, 3-year. Constables, Dennis Minnick, Thomas Belvin, Matthew Sanders, Francis Glenn, Andrew Pandora, and Michael Pavoni. Matron, Mary Ann Alstrom. Town Council, Copeland and Page. Labor Council, Merrick O'Connell. Town Common and Bystand Use Advisory Committee. M. Patrick Berry and John F. McCormick. Assistant Building Inspector, Richard Brady and Mark Broder. Wire Inspector, Michael Capone. Assistant Wire Inspector, Dennis Dean. Plumbing Gas Inspector, George.
Biglianico.
Yeah, that's what he said. Assistant Plumbing Inspector, Eric Johnson. Town Scholarship Committee, Joyce Koljula and Kim Hopewell. Solid Waste Advisory Team, Elise Wellington, Julianne DeRivia, and Norma Chanis. Insurance Advisory Committee, Eric Mensing, DBW, Paula Menendez, School Teachers Union, James Bartlett, Police Union, Roger Pontrian, Brian?
Right.
School Administrative, Marsha Keynes, retiree, Judy Van Hoven, Teachers, and John McCormick, retiree, alternate. Fifth, John DiPietro Senior, and Municipal Building Committee, Donald DeMarsh, Library.
So moved.
Second.
Yeah.
I have a question. Nance, I have a connection to Labor Council, so Myrick O'Connell, can I recuse myself from that
Sure.
particular one? And then the rest? Okay.
All in favor of,
So I'll make a motion to accept all, except for, what is it, Merrick O'Connell.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye. I make a motion to accept Labor Council Merrick O'Connell.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Consider the following Board of Selectmen April reappointments, ZBA David Femia, 5 years. Bylaw Committee, David Mercurio.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Acknowledge receipt of town meeting articles.
You have the articles in your, in your packet. Originally, we were going to see if we could do the articles and the warrant on the 20th. However, we have one article that needs a little more discussion, so what I'm thinking about doing is having a special meeting on the 27th. We're going to have an executive session meeting on the 20th to go over one of those articles, and then we'll be prepared to go forward. Maybe we could meet on the 27th at 6:30, because FISP will meet, and we can push them back at 7:30, if that works for the board.
So you said the 20th of April, Nancy?
20th of April will be a
special?
regular,
That's
A regular meeting.
Okay.
with an executive session
At 6:30?
at 6:30.
6:30,
And then we will have a special meeting before the FISP meeting on the 27th.
Is the 12th okay for me to get you the spending articles for the CPA projects?
Sure,
I can get you one of them now.
that's okay.
All right, any discussion on the town meeting articles? Okay. Meeting invitations and announcements. May 2nd, 2016, 6:30, public hearing for the Mass DOT project at Town Hall. Stormwater improvement project on Beaman Street, Route 140 at Wachusett Reservoir. Stormwater improvement project at Route 140 on Wachusett Reservoir South Bay Project, Boylston, West Boylston line. And announced that the Beaman Memorial Public Library has been voted eligible for the State Review Board and has been voted eligible by the State Review Board and has been signed by the State Historical Preservation Officer. All right, 7:30. This, Planning Board request to adopt a complete street policy. Come on up, Mike.
I'm actually not here for that.
Oh,
No, I don't actually know what to talk about. I'm here for the paper sign so I can remain on the planning board.
I think Vinnie's is coming up.
Is he going to go get me downstairs?
Yeah, because he was in a meeting before.
I'm not prepared to talk about it.
Okay.
Okay.
So just to clarify, on the 20th, we're gonna do 6:30, and on the 27th, we're also gonna do 6:30.
Yes,
And we're gonna move the building committee to 7:30?
yes. It should be a brief
Just like the
building
other-
committee meeting, because the RFP is out, it's in the central register, it's, be in the T&G, and then we'll have our special meeting in May, the first week in May, to review everything, so I'm not sure that we'll have much on the FISP meeting agenda anyway.
So we might not even need the first meeting that night. You can look into that. So just let everybody know it'll be 7:30 instead.
Sure, I will do that.
6:30, you mean?
6:30 BOS
Selectmen's
meeting,
Oh,
and then
gotcha. Yeah, yeah,
7:30
yeah.
for the building meeting.
Let's do, while we're waiting.
Wish I didn't have to work just to edit things in my calendar.
Selectmen report, Mr. Rucho?
I have nothing.
Mr. Crowley?
I have nothing.
I have nothing at this time, thank you.
No, I'm all set.
Nothing in the future agenda items, Mr. Rucho?
Nothing.
I'd like to discuss the possibility for next year's budget cycle to have a formal subcommittee of this board to work with the new town administrator. I know we all do it individually, but I think we should formalize the process.
I have nothing.
No, nothing, I just wanted to comment on that, when you said that we do
Well,
it individually. We never do it.
Some of
The
us
town-
do.
The town administrator, because they're responsible for the budget, makes the budget themselves.
Well, we're
They're
talking,
finishing up their meeting coming up, but I remember what it's about.
But the town administrator is going
well,
to
let's
take...
talk about the next meeting,
Okay.
'cause it's on the next agenda, all right?
I could, just one thing I could add to that, not to, we can talk about it. I think it would probably be best to wait till we have the town administrator on before we decide what to do. That would be my suggestion. Maybe the meeting after, because we have a whole year before the next budget, so.
I'm not going to be here on the 20th anyway, so...
So we'll-
Okay, so put it on.
when she's here, we can,
The new town administrator will be here for the next meeting.
I won't be.
Yeah.
she'll be here at the next meeting. Well, that'll be 2 days after she starts.
Yeah, I know. No,
We're
I-
gonna talk about next year's budget.
All right, you're on board.
They're lost in the stairs.
It's a long walk.
It is.
I'm sorry.
Anybody else coming?
Rajesh was coming, he's the one, he attended the meeting with me that we went to at Mass.
Mark,
Highway.
grab a chair, bring it up here.
Yeah, so there was a Complete Streets training class that Rajesh and I attended at Central Mass Regional Planning Commission. Did you have the date when we went there?
No, I don't know. Maybe a month ago.
Yeah, and so they recommended that there's this program they started, and it's encouraging towns to provide, do some advanced planning to include pedestrian and bicycle access in any street planning, any changes that are being made on streets. And it's just advanced work. It's put on by the state, and they're asking for towns to go through a process, and the process is outlined in the policy that we submitted to you. We draft a policy, it gets a public meeting, which the planning board held, and the planning board voted to recommend to the selectmen to adopt the policy or introduce the policy. And it's up to the selectmen to make the decisions for the town. It seems like a positive program. Everybody seems to win. There's money available for design, and there's also money available for construction of these improvement projects. And the program is expanding. We're in the early stages of it, so that if we move, not super quickly, but if we move swiftly, we'll be on the front end before the money starts getting split up in smaller bite-sized chunks. So if we can get in early, we might have a chance at more money available. And hopefully you've had a chance to read the policy, and I guess unless we have anything else, if you had questions or concerns with the policy or the reasoning behind it, we're open to questions.
So, looking at the policy, it basically, correct me if I'm wrong, it just says, we're gonna consider all aspects of bicycles, pedestrians, cars, and skateboards, whatever, what have you. But there's no commitment. We could consider it and say, that's great, we're not doing any of it, we wanna have just a street. There's no, it doesn't bind us to do anything.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
And also to do the study, they do give us a technical assistant grant, 40,000, up to 40,000. So with that, we maybe know where the bicycle tracks, where it ends, or, is it possible to put a bicycle?
And if we're redoing a neighborhood and we say, hey, we wanna do this study and it costs $40,000 and the state says, sorry, we don't have $40,000 for you, we're not obligated, we could just say that we're not gonna do the study.
No.
Right. It's sort of just to open up that opportunity.
All right, well, the study part is, the advance, one of the first steps that you do after you get the policy in place is you come up with a study. So you look and you say, okay, well, Route 12, we probably want to have sidewalks on there, we want to have enough width in the lanes, the travel lanes, to have a bicycle access, doesn't have to be a separate designated bicycle way. It can be part of the, just like the regular traffic that we have. And it's not like if you have, what's one of them?
It's in Alston, they have a good, this kind of a road.
Even in Worcester too, Park Ave has it now.
Yeah, and so, I mean,
Not too many people, not too many towns adopted the policy yet.
yeah, there's a lot of people were at the meeting, but no one's completed the process. But it's also, it goes the other way too, is that if you have a property like Lawrence Street, where it's a steep hill going to a dead end, it's not gonna require you to have 2 sidewalks and bicycle lanes on that. If you just resurface that, if it's wide enough to have 2 cars and about a 2-foot lane or so for sidewalk, or for pedestrian and bicycle use, then that's adequate. But that's what your policy allows you to have, the flexibility to go from sidewalks where they're needed and no sidewalks, no walking paths where they're not.
I have a question,
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman. Is this 40,000 an automatic once you file, or I'm assuming you have to apply? And I just want to make sure that, say you get the 40,000, or the town does, that is not a commitment to go forward with their suggestions. So we're not committed at that point to doing what has been suggested. Am I
That's just-
correct?
Yes,
Okay.
that's only for technical analysis.
Only for what?
It's called technical analysis, so the MassDOT gives us some support. We can go study the roads, that's perfect. Study all the roads to see where we can put the bicycle racks.
So-
We don't have to do any work,
So let me follow up, we just had the roads study done. That was, how long ago was that?
Less than
3 months?
Yeah.
Can they use that? Can we,
That's a different kind of a study, right?
Right, yeah, it's a different study. This looks at how to prioritize and look at the roads that we would want to include. I think the study is probably gonna come up with what roads are the top priorities for when there's gonna be an improvement in that road, to include improvements to the bicycle and the pedestrian access. Things that I'm thinking of are like Route 140 down by the landfill, where it goes in Boylston, where it's a wide open, 50-foot wide pavement. You get into West Boylston, it narrows down to 30 feet wide, and it starts doing an S-curve, so that when we do work over in that area, this policy would say, okay, let's be smart. This policy looks at it and says, oh yeah, a lot of people bicycle that area, we should have enough space on there for a bike lane. So that when the state or when someone comes in to do a program or a project on that section of road, that we make sure that there's enough space for that. If we decide, or if you decide that you don't want to have what's recommended in the policy, you're not held to it. It's a policy, it's the idea, it's a guiding document. It's not a law that's set in stone. So I think that, Siobhan, is what you were asking. We're not held to it, exactly what's in the policy, because it's flexible.
But part of what you just said, we already had done, from my understanding, with part of the roads, am I?
well, we did.
We did part
We had
of
our roads
that.
prioritized,
Yeah.
the worst
For
to
the
the
surface
best.
though,
For service, but if we're gonna do them over, it falls into the same thing this project's gonna do. So they're gonna, for example, do Malden Street next. They're gonna tell us we should put a bike lane in, or, that's what I'm saying.
The thing you did told you where there should be more wider roads.
No, it told us which are the worst roads to the best roads.
For the potholes in the road surface.
Road conditions.
Yeah, okay.
Right, so it
I think
is
it's a little
different
bit
than that, because that is a road maintenance plan, so that's the maintenance. What this is, it dovetails in there well, is that you would say, okay, these are the worst roads, we plan on doing the work on them first. Should we make those 2 feet wider, or realign the striping so that, I mean, and there are some town roads that we have that are well wide enough. The average lane now is 11 feet, and that's what all they want. They can go down to 10 in some places, but some places we have 18 or 22 feet worth of pavement, but the road width is such that there's not much shoulder. So what this would do is you would see that road under the pavement program, it's dilapidated or having problems. You then look at, under this assessment, it says, okay, you should have one sidewalk or one bike path, one walking lane of 2 feet wide or 4 feet wide, and how do you incorporate the two? And you would put the two together. it wouldn't be something, it would definitely wouldn't redo what you've already done, because it has nothing to do with the surface condition.
Yes, you have some.
Isn't there gonna be work done on 140? Isn't,
That's
Yes.
preliminary, there's been some preliminary discussion. I think.
aren't there sidewalks planned over there?
Are you talking the 140, the MHD project?
The one the state's doing, yeah.
I don't believe they're putting
By that
sidewalks.
Oldstone Church?
No, that one's gonna happen. I thought there was gonna be some in 140 too.
There's one.
Towards
um,
Boylston.
Boylston, West Boylston line.
There's gonna be, is there sidewalks involved in that?
No, that's just drainage and that's the center of the
Not
road.
adding?
Planning board hasn't seen anything
I don't
on
know
that,
about that.
and so I don't know if you guys have approved it, but it's a town road,
The
so.
hearing is on,
Yeah, it's
May
right here, May
2nd.
2nd.
Second.
so, I mean, you could go to the hearing and you could make recommendations.
Who's holding it? Or US?
MHD.
That's DOT.
That's gonna be downstairs then?
Downstairs.
Does this policy in any way conflict with any of the policies you already have for like sidewalks on a street, width of a street, when somebody designs a cul-de-sac, I'll use that for lack of any better. And you say, well, you have to have a certain size sidewalk, you have to have a certain size street. Does this conflict at all with that?
Nope, that's our subdivision regulations and the subdivision standards. When they come in, we actually have a preliminary subdivision coming before us at our meeting next week, and it would work well with this because it has the same criteria. You're trying to include bicycle access, pedestrian access, and vehicular access. So our subdivision regs already incorporate this. The policy is more for when they're renovating or redoing areas on the existing town roads.
So we already have
For new roads, it's already taken care of, yes.
for bicycle,
It's in our subdivision regulations.
okay, all right.
You said May 1st, Saturday?
May 2nd.
Second. May 2nd.
Monday.
Better.
6:30.
Anybody else have anything? Is there a motion to accept?
So do we need to have a public hearing on the policy? So the motion should be to schedule this for a public hearing?
In their,
Public meeting.
Public hearing.
in their
We need to have-
protocol, we held a public meeting and had it posted at our planning board meeting. You guys are welcome to have another one. You're not
We have to,
required
I think we have to,
Yes, we have to.
under our,
Okay.
This doesn't
under our
count?
policies, we have to have a meeting to adopt the
This
policy.
meeting doesn't count?
No, this is not a posted
No, it's
public
not a
hearing.
public
This is a basic selectmen's meeting.
It has to be,
Hearing.
it has to be posted in
Not a
the
hearing, but
paper.
it's, does it need a hearing or a public meeting?
Yeah, there's a,
Public
I
meeting.
actually found in the zoning,
Oh.
in the zoning bylaw, there's a requirement for the town, separate from what
Oh,
is
from us.
required here, right?
We got away with
So
it.
yes, that's, you're
All
right.
right, so we need a motion to have a public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All
So it's
in
a
favor?
public, I'm sorry,
Okay.
it's a public hearing to adopt the policy then? Because it's, what the DPW or DOT said is there a vote to introduce the policy and then a vote to adopt. I'm not sure of the way you guys operate it. Is that generally how you do things? You introduce the policy and then you adopt it, or?
I thought they had to adopt the policy.
No.
I thought it went from here to you.
You are introducing the policy to the Board of Selectmen. The Board of Selectmen will now hold a public hearing, and they will adopt the policy.
Okay.
Well, then we will have that hearing to decide if we're going to adopt.
Exactly.
To consider the adoption of it.
Right, consider, right.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Wait, do you know when that'll be? Or
We'll have to schedule, we don't know.
We have to look at the calendar.
We will let you know. We will notify planning board.
Motion to
Being
adjourn?
no other business, motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Look at that, huh? Record.
I'm not sure it's a record.
since the meeting's over, would you consider supporting me for planning board?
So no one else wants a job.
Running unopposed, it's easy.
I was wondering if you're gonna poll.
I'm not procrastinating.
When do they do? Oh, you still have time.
Yeah,
When
the
they're due.
20th or something like that,
Yeah.
21st.
Are you gonna do something fun after this?
22nd is the meeting.
I'm getting there, John.
I don't think it's that.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Yes.
This is the norm.
The last, yes, I do everything. You know, cable. Out next week. Send it to me tomorrow and I can get it all.
The first two. I like the next two and I have one cent.
I have done.
I was like, man,